Gay activists call Pokemon trans icon gets destroyed for insane identity politics pushing. Yes, so also please consider like subscribing. I appreciate it. This is by Vara Dark. Also go to subscribe to her. So here is the thing. You see Gallade? Gallade is always male. Always. There is no female Gallade. There has never been a female Gallade. There will never be a female Gallade. However, Pokemon Champions released, and they made a few mistakes, a few bugs, including a female Gallade. And of course, weird ideologues said, you know what? This is now a trans icon, which is interesting because Pokemon don't have a gender identity. Anyways, we'll go in. It is very interesting. I wonder what insane schizo what insane schizo shit we're gonna see now. Because they're always schizophrenic when it comes about this. It comes to this, right? They will use, right? So JJK introduced a Otokonoko. Is that how you say it? Again, I forget it all the time, right? Which is basically a male character that appears more feminine. Label that as trans. JJK creator comes out and says, that's a man. Weird people on the internet, you're transphobic to the creator. Yay.
The journalists that still have jobs in the video game space are so desperate for clicks that they will pump out the worst articles I have ever seen in my entire life. And just a few days ago, we were talking about how Kotaku was pushing adult themes onto the Super Mario Galaxy movie. They were talking about how they know Bowser's bisexual, and they're
Huh? What? Okay. What is it with these weirdos inserting sexualities and everything's about sex into children's movies? I have a question. Okay, I'm gonna say this. How is Kotaku even still around? How do they survive? How do they make money? Who pay? I mean, we know who pays them probably, but like, how are you still around? That's the question I'm having. I mean, Polygon is dead, but how are you still around?
not a furry, but when they see Fox McCloud, they get it. And now they are saying that Pokemon Champions has an unexpected trans icon, and of course, they are being wrecked and ratioed over this. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. So, about a month ago, we saw this exact same journalist post an article about how they leave Leon Kennedy on low health so they can listen to his moans and groans, and they were fantasizing about this character, which, listen, it's perfectly fine if you think a character is attractive, even if you're gay as hell. You're allowed to, but also the fact that you are so desperate for attention that you are posting that on social media, you are writing articles about that, and you are getting paid for posting.
So you are telling me, okay, I'm getting a little closer to the mic. You are telling me that I can make money writing slop articles of how I keep Leon Kennedy on low health so I can goon to him and I can post that on the internet and make money, get paid for it. Gentlemen, I may not have a brain, but I have an idea. I'm gonna start writing slop articles how I want to be stuck in character ABC's between character ABC's boobs and get paid for it. I will make pokillions with this.
This opinion is absolutely fucking weird, in my opinion. I think that, again, it's fine if you like a certain character, but time.
I also have to say this. And I have to say this. When has it become normal to be a proud corn addict out in the open. Just like out in the open. Just like no one's stopping you. Out straight up in the open. What are we doing? Of Cartoon Network style? No. Oh, of Cartoon Network style. I don't know about that one. It's crazy. I wanna get paid for that.
In time again. This one journo, Kenneth Shepard, who didn't exist in this space until he was hired at Kotaku, has been pushing this agenda now for weeks, and really, we're going on to months. Now, he is desperate for attention, desperate for his articles to make a few bucks. And so part of this is just interaction baiting and trying to rage bait, getting people to click on this article when they see a headline and they're really mad at it. And another part of it, I think, is just like a humiliation fetish. It's very weird. But a few days ago, Kotaku had pushed the adult themes out of the Super Mario Galaxy movie, saying, I'm not a furry, but when I see Fox McCloud, I get it. And Bowser, I know you're bisexual. And now they're talking about Pokemon, saying Pokemon
Bowser. Bisexual. Yet his entire character revolves around kidnapping. Oh, one woman. Bowser's never kidnapped a man. Bowser has always kidnapped a woman. Peach, to be exact. This doesn't even make sense. Bro always wants Peach. Bro wanted to marry Peach in Odyssey. Bro kidnapped Peach so she could be a mother to Bowser Jr. Shut the fuck up, tourist. We do not want you here.
Champions has an unexpected trans icon. So it says Pokemon has a lot of weird gender stuff in its game design, both for things like
Not really. Weird stuff. Weird stuff? That doesn't make even sense. What do you mean weird stuff? Male, female, no gender because object or legendary or mythical, and that depends. Some Pokemon don't even fall into that category, and if do fall into that category and still have genders. Also, isn't it technically funny how they use gender even though Pokemon only has sexes technically? But then like, huh? Because right, gender and sex are not the same, but suddenly they are. Anyways, but yeah, it's not like, and like heavily gendered. Yes, they have like dimorphism, right? Like Charizard. Does Charizard have smaller horns? I forgot. But Venusaur has a different, the flower size is different, right? Or like the flower looks different on its back.
breeding Pokemon, and in the sense of that it blatantly leans into some pretty heavily gendered character design for some of its monsters. Tinkaton is pink and has pigtails, so it's obviously a girl, right? Sometimes this plays into some gender dysmorphism, and some certain species have different traits depending on if they're male or female. In other cases, it can affect their evolutionary line, and that's what happens with Gallade, a Pokemon introduced back in Diamond and Pearl. Now, yes, there are some Pokemon that clearly have a look to them that you would assume is male or you would assume is female, but they exist in both genders. Or maybe, yeah, you have a Pokemon that's pink and it's primarily male, and the female versions are much more rare. But that's just to, I would say, surprise people, and not because they were trying to push a certain narrative with these creatures. And that's really where Kenneth Shepard is going with this argument, is that, oh my god, they're doing it because they actually want to have people see these characters and these creatures in a different light so we can be a more accepting society and blah 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 blah. It really just boils down to,
Which is hilarious considering that, right, we have more feminine Pokemon that can end up being male or female, right? Like Gardevoir. Gothitelle. What else do we have? Wait. Blossom. Or the entire Chikorita line. They know that, right? As well as we have very cool looking Pokemon, very masculine looking Pokemon that can be also female, like the entire the Litten line, Decidueye. Um, what else do we have? Right, Rhyperior. Right, this has nothing to do with it because spoiler alert, cool Pokemon can be female. Shocking, I know.
Them seeing what they want to see and taking a handful of examples and then pushing a narrative with it, saying, oh, this had an under.
Wait a minute. To get Gallade, you have to have a male Curlia and use a Dawnstone to make it evolve. Yes. Female Curlias are only able to evolve into Gardevoir, the very feminine version of that so they're doing this, by the way, on false information. They're doing this on false information. So, Gardevoir can be male or female. You can level up a male Curlia regularly, and it will still turn into a Gardevoir. Unless you use the Dawnstone. You can only not use the Dawnstone on a female Curlia. But a male Curlia will still evolve into a male Gardevoir. So the guy that wrote this article is a tourist and retarded.
Lying reason for its existence. Oh, the developers must support me and my delusions, which isn't the case. So they say Gardevoir was originally the only final form the monster had when it debuted in Ruby and Sapphire, which means that even male versions would evolve into the more feminine Pokemon. As such, Gallade feels like it was added to make a more masculine version of the evolutionary line. That's obviously a loaded sentiment that we could unpack another day, but whether it was an oversight that will get patched out or a new development in the Gallade lore, the pronouns for trainer Cordy's Gallade and champions are she, her, which means that fans are calling her a trans icon who must have transitioned at some point after evolving into the third form. Good for her. And they screenshot and share and link a handful of delusional people's responses saying, oh my gosh, female Gallade confirmed real. Wait, this is a huge thing to casually throw in champions. Pokemon officially has 4 transgender characters. Oh my gosh, congrats on her trans.
By the way, that with Meryl is not trans. It's a coding issue. It's a coding issue that was later on fixed, by the way. That doesn't work anymore. Oh, wow, trans. Oh, yeah, fixed, by the way. There's no trans. Untrans the Meryl.
You guys sound absolutely insane. You sound as crazy as the people who are freaking out right now because in the Galaxy movie, Peach and Rosalina aren't actually lesbians, but they are sisters, and you guys just wanted them to play into your character shipping. It's just very weird to me. But of course, Kotaku and all of these individuals are getting roasted and ratioed right now. We get it. This Fox, you really want to F animals. Anyway, thanks for continuing to be the insufferable lot that you are. Without you acting like you do, more people would be nice and placating to you type. Now,
Nice. Madam Savvy, as usual, very based, very nice, very based. I also like their takes on Pokemon Legends ZA and the way Kalos was treated in that game. I really like that.
everyone's just given up. Anyway, no Pokemon is trans, no Ditto isn't gender fluid, no Sylveon wasn't made with you dumbasses in mind. Just stop. This is why I'll continue to put all my money into building geeksandgamers.com. Kotaku Dark Mode, everything I like is actually trans because I want it to be. Yeah, and I say this all the time. If you are looking for something, you are going to find it. If you are looking for racism, you'll see it. If you're looking for sexism, you'll see it. If you're looking for something specific, you will create links that are not actually there. Go out of business already. Jesus. Kenneth Shepard once again outdoes himself as the biggest retard in gaming journalism. Kotaku, and it's just you cringing. Could you not make everything about yourself for 5 minutes? And yeah, these people are desperate for validation. They are desperate for attention, and they are desperate for a few clicks. And this is why nobody respects these journalists anymore, why nobody takes them seriously, and why so many of them are losing their jobs and going out of business. They will sit here and cry that, oh my gosh, I was targeted because of my gender and this and that. No, you lost your job because you suck at your job. And if you don't know how to do your job properly, you're not going to be able to keep it. Maybe if you didn't constantly talk about your sexuality and your politics and all of these different things, you would be doing a little bit better. And you're just making it easy to reject your slop. And cultural Marxists are getting BTFO'd.
And we get to farm them for the stupidity that they spread. Right? At the end of the day, have to look at it like this. You can farm them, and that's all these people technically deserve. They deserve to be farmed for content, and that's it.
And they hate to see this happening. These people never really cared about the video game industry anyway. They just couldn't make it at mainstream political sites like MSNBC's, and they couldn't make it at the CNNs. And so they had to find another industry. And well, they thought the video game space was going to be easy for them to infiltrate, and it definitely hasn't been. I talked about the Gachiakuta situation in a video, I believe 2 weeks ago. I can link it down below, but the mangaka had rejected claims that one of their characters was LGBTQ, and then the people that were angry went online and started spreading rumors about her sexuality and her identity, and started saying that, oh my god, this mangaka is non-binary. And she was like, yeah, that's news to me, that's definitely not the case. So these people hate when their delusions are rejected, as we've seen multiple times. And of course, Kotaku knows how to grind people's gears, and so they're putting up articles like this. I personally use archives when
I mean, the gotcha kucha thing is generally very interesting because it essentially, the community very much resembles the early days and early stage of what happened to My Hero Academia, which is eventually the entire community only care about one thing, and that's the character's sexuality and who they could ship with each other, right? That's how we got the abomination that is Baku Deku, because yes, of course, the guy that tells you to take a swan dive of the next highest building is very clearly in love with you. Mm-hmm.
reference these types of articles, all you have to do is copy
And the other women crying about the fact that Ochaku and Deku are a thing. Yay.
the link from Twitter. You don't even have to open it. Go to archive.today, and then you can go to existing articles archived. And if it's not there, you can archive it, and it actually doesn't give them a click. So you can read it without actually having to give them the money that they are so desperate for. So that's what I personally do. And I recommend other people do too if you are not in support of these, but you do still want to see how insane these people are. But yeah, now Kotaku is claiming that there's a trans icon in Pokemon Champions, and they're getting destroyed for it.
Which here's the fun thing, right? So, the same people that made Champions, by the way, were the same people that made Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl the worst Pokemon games ever created known to man, right? Riddled with bugs, full of bugs. In fact, Champions has the same bugs, in fact, that BDSP has. In other words, your trans icon is a bug, and a failure, an issue, a programming failure. Isn't that funny? I wonder what they mean by this. Anyways, horrible.